Good morning, Dual Coast fans. Welcome back to another powerful episode of Dual Coast Podcast. I got to clap because Russ gets upset if I don't clap. How's everybody doing this morning? Russ, how you feeling?
Oh, I feel so good, man. We were just talking with Camille backstage, just how amazing it feels to start at 6:30 a.m., but knowing that next week,
Yes,
we've been doing it for a year and a half, mainly at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
right.
But unless we had a special, guest that needed a different time slot, like Camille. So we are starting at 6 a.m. next week.
Going
I'm
forward.
excited about that. So today, showered up, no cap, extra time. I feel amazing.
See, being on the West Coast makes a big difference for you. Sure. Being on the East Coast,
Yeah,
not-
but then I hear that Camille wakes up at 4 a.m. So I was like, ugh.
But she's one of those people we talk about who, could get it done. She gets up 4 a.m., she does her thing, she has her coffee, and she gets the day going.
We can talk about Camille all day as she's backstage listening right now.
Exactly.
How are you doing on the East Coast?
I'm good on the East Coast, man. I'm good on the East Coast. We're getting ready for something special today. What do we got going on today, Russ?
We have green sweater. Wait till you see Camille's background. So we're going to blend today. It's going to look amazing on our post.
Yes. What else are we doing
Today, 10 a.m. Last week, we had to move our time slot for Next Gen Visionaries to this week, which is fabulous. The last day of June. It is amazing. We're getting ready. We're at the 6-month mark of Next Gen Visionaries. It's absolutely incredible building this community, launching it in January. The team, the community that we are building is absolutely amazing. Next Gen Visionaries is all about building leaders and visionaries for now and for the future. Had an amazing talk with Dr. Will last week. He's not able to make our call today at 10 a.m., but had a great talk about what matters. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What matters in my life as a visionary? So last week I had this amazing talk with Dr. Will, who's up in Vancouver, Washington, was also a part of our Impact Live event in Portland. And we really broke it down and diving deep on really what matters in his life as a visionary leader, as a businessman, as a newly married man. And in about a month and a half, baby, we're going to be saying the same thing about you.
That's correct.
So I'm excited. I'm pumped. This is amazing. But I would love for people to be maybe to have some inquisitive questions about what is Next Gen Visionaries. We meet one time a month. We're going to be adding another slot to dive deeper into what this is and what it's about. But I'm hoping that people will really look at Next Gen Visionaries, say, hey, what is this? How can I be a part? It's very simple. Hit me up, DM me, message me, and we'll talk about what Next Gen Visionaries. Come on as a guest, check it out. But today we meet at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a Zoom call for 45 minutes. I lead the discussion. Today is all about what matters as a visionary leader. So diving into some deep stuff. What about you? What matters to you?
Well, I was going to say, Russ, you could also reach out to the Dual Coast DMs too, and we can tell you all about Next Gen Visionaries. So
Perfect.
Reach out to Dual Coast Podcast. You can reach us on any social media handle. Will tell you all about Next Gen Visionaries. It's going to be a great discussion today. I myself am part of the community. It has been a massive change for me. Speaking with people like Dr. Will, Dan Sikowski, who comes to a lot of meetings, well known. And just the community itself creates a great network. It's amazing people all around. It creates a great community. And Russ does an amazing job, guys. Please reach out to me or him. We could get you a slot in Next Gen, however necessary. Reach out to Dual Coast social media handles. And Russ, do you have you can reach out to you at Russell Rogers. Was the best
RussellRogers.net.
RussellRogers.net is probably the best way. Okay.
Yep. That's awesome.
It's going to be great.
So yeah, check it out. Ask some questions and let's get going, man. Love to have you people a part of the community.
Let's do it.
But today we have a special guest, just like we do every week, with Camille Ellis. I'm so excited to have Camille on, and so let's bring her on, and we'll talk about it so everybody can see her face.
Let's do it. Camille, welcome to the stage.
Morning. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
I'm gonna be your new wall art.
Yeah. Matching up so nicely.
I'm actually getting my wall art hung properly today with my son.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it needs to be lower. It's too high, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm
okay
first. Anybody who knows what they're doing.
perfect. It's perfect.
That's awesome. Camille, welcome to Dual Coast. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being here. Camille and I met a couple of, I don't know, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, something like that. I don't know, 3 months ago. Anyway, we had coffee, met through a friend named Neil Perlberg. And Neil is a local dynamo here in the Santa Cruz area. But he introduced Camille and Camille and I had some coffee before we did the Impact Live event. At the Impact Live event in Santa Cruz, called an audible. We had a little time, brought Camille up, sat down on the stage. She walked up. We had a nice little talk, a little interview. And wait till you hear this discussion today, because not only is Camille eloquent in her words, very thought out, very professional, intelligent, and has gone through some experiences on her own to why she is where she is now. So, Camille, welcome to Dual Coast. Like that clap, Dan?
I love that. Yay.
Yeah, he stole that from me.
Thank you.
Oh man. Hey, Camille, let's talk about, just real quick, on a much lighter note. What is it in your life that gets you to unlock yourself, to relax, to get out, whether it's outside, you're working out? Tell us a little bit about your lifestyle before we dive into some deeper questions.
Okay, well, I have a blended lifestyle. I want to start my day very peacefully and very centered. So I have a real clear focus of how I want my day to go. And then I'm very active and I do a lot of things. I work out. I enjoy the outdoors. Of course, we live in a place where we can go outdoors every single day of the year almost. So, it's always...
Don't be jealous, Dan.
Yeah.
So it's always an adventure, and I'm a foodie. So it's like, what am I going to cook today? Because I want to feed myself well. I'm kind of a health nut. So it's always about healthy choices with everything I do. And I think today, like, I'm constantly working on my breath work because I don't think I breathe deep enough and fast enough and so forth. And, maybe I hold my breath a little bit too much. I don't know. So
all right.
I'm really trying to focus on that.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you bike? Do you play any sports? Do you run? Do you walk? Do you hike? What do you do?
I would love to do more of all of those things, except I'm very codependent and enabling my dog, who cannot do those things. He's very large, he's a breed,
okay.
So we go to the beach, we walk on the beach, we have a lot of fun doing that. And then I have my own personal workout while he waits in the car. But I think, if I didn't have a dog, I'd really probably like to get on my bike a little bit more, but he's too big to be on a bike.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We need to get you a little side cart.
Yeah.
So I thought about it.
Yeah.
Trust me, this is
Little
how fun
side
I
cart
am
or a
with
little
it.
trailer on the back.
That would be so fun, right?
How much does your dog weigh?
I think he's about 90 pounds.
Oh, so you're not picking him up and putting him in the car.
Actually, I kind of do, because
Okay.
he's a handicapped dog. He's missing a hip joint. And so when he goes to get in my car, which is an SUV, so it's a little higher, he gets his front half up and I heave-hove his back half. And I think sometime last week I did it wrongly because I now have pulled a rib. Yes. So my floating rib is not exactly where it needs to be, which is very tender.
Gotcha.
Well, too bad you weren't closer to Dr. Will, because he could adjust you and get that rib, which he
I
did
have
to
seen
me.
the chiropractor. I see
That's
the
amazing.
chiropractor today. And I go back to the chiropractor tomorrow and get a massage. So hopefully all those things are going to just put me back in alignment where my rib will be happy.
There we go.
Well, I suggest you quit doing 90-pound dog curls, okay?
Right? Yeah. You got to stay strong, though. I really think about strength and building my strength constantly, especially since I'm getting older. I want to always be strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Camille, tell us a little bit about what else you do.
Well, professionally speaking, I am a grief coach, and I help people process their grief, which everybody has, whether it's from a loss of a life or a loss of their identity or possibly even a job. Things happen that create grief for all of us, and it's how we want to experience it and manage it. And some people get really stuck. So I'm, honored to say I get to help these people out of the worst misery of their lives sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have shared with me about your own grief. You've
Yes.
shared, you have gone through the fire, and it never, that fire, when it comes to loss of someone in your life, never goes out because of who that person is to you or who that person is to others. Can you share with our listening audience about what you've gone through in your personal life over the last number of years?
Well, I've been through a lot. So I think it started at the beginning of my life where I had to learn how to cope and get through. I was the third out of four, and I was probably the least fitting in my family. So as a child, I just learned how to cope and build my resilience to get through. And it's not that I had a bad life. I think I was really fortunate because it taught me so many skills. But then as an adult, things, I kept probably self-sabotaging by the choices I made, but I learned something from all of them. And I don't regret anything that I did because the experience was so educational and there was a lot of joy in there as well. But the trauma that hit me the hardest probably was raising my youngest son, who was a very, very difficult spirit, let's call him. He was an angry child from the minute he was born. And how do you have an angry infant and cope, right? I had already had one child and he was the perfect child. He was happy and everything was great. I thought I was a gifted mother and knew the skills. And then I was given the gift of not having the skills and having to learn new skills. And so I did. More resilience, more capabilities, more capacity just kept building up in me and how to do this right. I wanted to be the best mom I could be. I'm an educated woman. I come from a very healthy background, and I know that we can fix all things about ourselves if we just try what we need. And it means trying a lot of different things. So that's what I did with my youngest son, and it helped a lot. It just wasn't ever the answer because his issue was here, and I didn't know a lot about the brain to understand how I could help him other than to love him and nurture him and give him everything I had. And then during his teenage years, my stepdaughter got really sick and we all believed she was going to die. She came home from college and lost all of her mobility and nobody knew what was wrong with her. So that was a really frightening experience, thinking your child is going to die. They're in the hospital and they can't function their mobilities anymore. And it affected everything, her swallowing, her eyesight, her speech, everything. So it was very, very scary. And it ended up being a bacteria in her brainstem. So her brain couldn't communicate with her body. They never really figured out what it was, but they were able to kill the bacteria so that she could start healing, which would be a long process because of all the inflammation in her brain. And during that process, I was fighting for her like you wouldn't believe. I have all this education from my family, 4 years, not 4 years, 4 generations of chiropractors and healing naturally and different things because the medical doctors didn't know what to do. They just said, you got to do therapy and it might take a year, but you may not get 100% of your mobility back. And she came from a family of give me a pill and let's make it better. And that doesn't work in these circumstances. So she and I started butting heads because I wanted her to do the work she had to do, like her therapy. And she decided, and she was one of my closest people, loved her to death, to tell me to get the hell out of her life. And that was painful. So it really taught me how to love her just as she was and stop trying to help her because she didn't want it. And what I learned was that what was going on actually worked for her. It just didn't work for me. And I had to step back and let her go, which was so painful. But it prepared me for something that I had no idea that was going to happen.
Oh, man.
And that preparation of learning how to just love the circumstance, that's all I had to do, prepared me for when I lost my youngest son to suicide. And having to learn how to love that, which was not something I like at all. Okay. This confuses so many people. How can you love it? I said, well, I hate it, but I love it because he lived and I got to be his mom. And so I created an experience for me in my grief and my worst experience of my life of accepting, allowing, recreating, reinventing myself. Now I get to be this mother who lost a child, which no parent ever wants to experience, and how I want to do it. So it became this building block of creating, how can I be my best self? How can I develop myself with this sadness, with this grief, and be of service now, not just to myself, which was most important, but also to my other children and to my business and my husband at the time, and even my dog. I mean, I thought about all the crazy things that I didn't think I'd be capable of doing anymore because I was so sad. But I slowly just started using all the skills I had been learning my whole life, and each one got me a little closer out of that horrible tunnel of misery. It's a very dark place to be, and if you want to live a life, you can't stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a profound statement.
Yeah.
Right. I think people get stuck and don't realize they have a choice. Like, I could have been a victim. I could have just decided, this is it. I'm not going to be responsible anymore.
Yeah.
My son died, now I'm going to go suffer for the rest of my life and be miserable. That was a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oof.
Camille, through that process of grief, how would you say that changed the way you define strength today?
When I suffer, and we all do, I really have to step outside of myself and look at the circumstances of life and see what else is out there. Sometimes it's a matter of just saying what is right now. Instead of seeing everything that's wrong, see what's right. So like losing my son, what was right is that he lived. So my focus became his life and not his death.
Mm-hmm.
The death was just the end of the story. But I didn't have to make his story all about the death. So when I'm struggling, I just do the same thing. It's just kind of like, okay, I'm in the middle of this challenge right now. How can I look at it differently? How can I help myself better so that I can be of service? I think we naturally, as humans, want to be of service and make a difference in our life, right?
Yes.
So it's always a matter of questioning and being very, very curious. And since I have this lifetime of experience of being curious of what can I do now to help myself to have a better day, it comes maybe a little more naturally for me, but this is what I teach my clients. And what I find with my clients is they don't know how to give themselves permission to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you do, it's amazing how much lighter you feel, right? You open up, your heart is open, and you realize that it's more servicing to everybody, your energy, everything, when you can say, you know what, this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grieving is a huge part of healing, and everybody grieves differently in their life, and there's all different types of losses in our life, right? It doesn't have to be just death. There's other losses in life. And so, but for you, Camille, how long did it take for you to feel like you were moving forward in your life and not feeling, lack for a better word, stuck because of the death of your son? How long did that process take to where you felt like you were starting to move forward in your life?
Well, it's a little unreal of a story because I get asked this a lot. It didn't take me very long at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd already had enough experiences to have the tools to change.
Yeah.
So I would say it was probably only about a week and a half.
Mm.
And it started with the grieving, right? The shock, basically. I was out of the state when my son died. And what was so interesting to me is that here he took his life in our home. And my oldest son was home when it happened. And devastating as it was, my son Wes, who died, was texting his friends and people And they all knew he was trying to commit suicide, but they didn't know where he was. And they
Mm.
were panicking. So there were several friends, circling the town looking for him. And my oldest son, Alex, came home early. He would usually be out partying. He was 22 and having a good time, and it was a Saturday night. And he came home early. It was 11 o'clock. And he gets this text message as he's in the fridge looking for a munchie from Wes's girlfriend. And she tells him, I think Wes is trying to kill himself. Do you know where he is? And of course, shocked, right? He's looking at his phone and thinking, what the hell? And all of a sudden, music turns on upstairs. And so he goes upstairs, and as he gets to the top of the landing, the gun goes off.
Mm.
And he goes in the room, and there's Wes, not dead.
Mm.
And he had to hold his brother until he died. Then the police take him away, put him in the station, and interview him, for the entire night. It was 5 a.m. when they finally released him, thanks to the coroner who called and said, let that kid out. He didn't do this. This was an obvious suicide. And so at around 6 a.m, Arizona time, I get a phone call from my son. You think in your mind, the police are going to call you. No, that doesn't happen. My son calls me, and he had to tell me that my son was dead. And I can't imagine that pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to break his mother's heart. He's going to tell her the worst news in the world, all the things. And then I'm observing myself. I'm going through this. I'm listening to him. I'm like, okay, are you okay? Yes. Where are you? Who are you with? Okay, I want you to stay with people. I'm asking him really weird questions.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, was it bloody? He said, yes. What did you do? I went through these really weird, and I'm observing myself. I'm like not even here. I'm out there watching me. And what it was I need to know about Alex right now. I can't help Wes anymore. He's gone. But now I'm very concerned about Alex. So I went into, overdrive as a mom, but I also went into freeze mode, shock, right? How do I do this? How do I do this? And I slowly started waking everybody up in the household I was in and telling them. I was kind of crying. It was like, tears were just kind of running out of my eyes, but I wasn't screaming or hysterical like I would have imagined myself to be. And I'm still on the outside watching myself. And, everybody went into overdrive, get a flight home right now, do all the things. And all I could think about was, I've got to get home to Alex. That's what I must do right now. Fast forwarding, we got home. And I walked into my house full of young people grieving, not knowing what to do. These young men had never lost anybody, right? And what do you do when your peer dies? And he's 18. So I became kind of the mother bear. They all surrounded me and hugged me and held me. And then we all talked and grieved and told stories about life and death. And a lot of the kids didn't have a lot of spiritual belief or faith to fall into to help support them during this raw time of life. And I have quite a bit. So I was able to tell my version of what I believe to help them. And I think it did. So we did this for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was the mother bear the whole time. I remember not really being able to eat. So I knew emotionally I was really out of whack. I think the only thing I could eat was macaroni salad, and I don't even like macaroni salad that much. So it was kind of interesting. It's like, I can't chew anything, but I can get some macaroni salad in me because it's really important to eat. And then when the house kind of settled down, so it's been a little over a week, and my sister had been there the whole time to support me and take all the phone calls. I was in my yard breaking, and it was really raw, really emotional. I may even cry as I tell the story because it was just so raw. You just feel yourself going down, down, down. And I told myself some really miserable stories, and it just made me feel worse. I thought, I'm never, ever going to be happy again. I am never, ever going to truly smile again. It's going to be this fake happiness, this like fraud in front of people. And it just made me feel so sad. But as I was listening to my stories that I was telling myself, I started recognizing how I was making it all about me. And I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this doesn't fit in my heart. I don't think this is a true story. I don't like it. And so I started focusing on, I don't like being a victim, and I think I'm pretty strong, but I was pissed too. Like, why do I have to do this too? Why do I have to lose a child? I've already been through enough. And a question popped in my head. Why not me? Why can't it be me?
Right.
Do I want to hand this experience over to you, Russ, or to you, Dan? And I couldn't hand it off to anybody. This is a terrible experience. So if anybody can do it, I can do it. So it kind of lifted me up. Like, okay, so if I can do this, how do I want to do it? How can I do this? And I sat there crying miserably, grieving, and just letting that grief just come on in, just be in my whole entire body and just feel it. And as I was sitting there falling apart, I realized this is going to change me forever. And I am going to be happy. I'm actually going to be happier because I know what this feels like. I'm going to be happy when I see hopeful grandchildren in the future. I'm going to laugh really deeply because life is just what it is. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do it with the greatest strength for my son. I want to be a better version because he lived. I do not want his death to take anything away from me. I want it to bring something more to me and honor him in the most powerful way I know how. And I really felt like if I can do that, then I'm an extension of his life. And his life is now more important than it ever has been before. Mm-hmm. And that became my drive, my purpose of really loving the fact that he existed.
Wow. Woo. Yeah. That is
it's deep work. It really is deep work.
Yes.
And it's hard for a lot of people, right? Because we have to go into our hearts and get out of our head. Because your head is going to always offer you, the fight or flight, the survival mode.
Sure.
But that doesn't fit in your heart and your soul and what your purpose is and who you are. But we all have to learn who we are and who we want to be. And that's where my coaching comes in. It's really, it's a challenge for people. They never really thought it was a choice, right? Everybody's on autopilot, living their life, dealing with what comes to them. But they might be reacting and not responding. And they may not have a goal of where to go so that they can land where they should be to be of the most service to themselves and their life.
Right. That's actually a good point, Camille. When you have these coaching, when you coach and going through these processes, is there any single daily habits that you try to instill in these people to regulate their emotions? Is there anything specific that you train them to do?
Well, there's a lot you can do, and it depends on the individual. Some people are already doing some of it, but you have to change your patterns, right? If you're going to keep doing the exact same thing, we know what's going to happen, right? It's very predictable. And so if you're looking for change, then you have to be willing to make that change. And in order to make the change, you have to recognize what you're doing right now, right? So once you recognize it, you can say, okay, like, oh, there I go again. Like, there went my pattern. I just said something that I don't like saying, or I said it just the way I hate it when I say something like that. So I have to go back and change it immediately, right? Say it a little bit better, correct myself. Sometimes it's out loud in front of people, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. Because I can be really black and white and just shoot things out of my mouth, and maybe I should add a little sugar to it, right? And so for me, I'm always trying to be a little bit softer in my speech so that I can be received a little bit better. And people want to hear my message or whatever I'm saying. That's important to me. And it's a skill set that does not come naturally to me. My mother raised me, and she falls out of my mouth all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. So, for those that are out there that are dealing with something, what is one of the first steps? They're dealing with grief. What is one of the first steps that they should take, Camille?
Allow the grief. Don't push it away and don't push it down, because that can cause a lot of problems, right? And a lot of people don't know how to feel it because it feels so hard. And it's not a pleasant experience. It's just a human emotion, and it comes into your body, and sometimes it consumes it, and other times it's softer. It just shows up, for whatever reason, right? Maybe a thought you had, maybe you think you saw somebody that looked just like the person who died, or if it's not from a death, it could be what you believed should have been. Like one of my stories, I believed, because my son was so challenging to raise, I believed when he was in his 30s, he would be more balanced, and I couldn't wait to have a conversation with him in his 30s. So when he died, I was a little disturbed that I wasn't going to get to do that. I really wanted to meet that version of him, and I didn't get to. So that was something I tortured myself with. And these are the things we do to ourselves daily. We create a scenario of what life is going to be like when we're, tomorrow, next week, 5 years from now, whatever it is, what our children are going to be like, what our spouses or partners are going to be like. And then they are something different, and we get, upset for whatever reason. And we have created that all by ourselves. They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
We did by creating an idea of what it would be like.
Right.
So if you can let go of everything and accept what is in this moment in time, then you're going to be a little bit more open to, processing it better. And that's part of the grieving. Like, just be open to it and watch it, feel it. Notice how sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's soft. The one thing is grief doesn't go away. You don't get over it. You're always going to grieve because you lost something that you really had hoped for or loved or whatever it is. And so you have to bring in what was good about it. Like, I brought in my son's life versus his death. His life outweighs his death so much. Or let's say you lost your career job you thought you were going to retire from, right? You're devastated. You really believe this was it for you. And that can take you down a slippery slope of failure, misery, all the things. But you can look at what you had as a skill set that's taking you somewhere you couldn't prepare yourself for. And it might be amazing.
Yeah.
I could never have imagined who I am today before all of this. No way. And here I am, right? I just work with what I have, and I just challenge myself to be better. How can I do it better?
Yeah, because a lot of people lose a lot of time for the fact that they can't get out of that grief.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that time was important.
Yeah.
Right? It may not be a loss. It might be something they really need to do. So it depends on the individual. But if I can, as a coach, give my client, and this happens a lot, permission to move forward. They never did, right? It's like they just kept themselves anchored down to this place that they didn't like, but they wanted out, but they stayed there because that's all they knew.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what if you did something different? Like one of my clients, and this one always stands out, and I may have told Russ this story. She lost her son to suicide, and we were working together on it. And then her only other child, took his life as well. So now she's the mother who's lost all of her children, both to suicide. And even as a coach, when she messaged me and said, I really need to talk to you, and I think she told me in an email, I had to coach myself on how to work with her because I don't know that experience. And I wanted to help her in the most profound way I possibly could. And it was all about reinvention, Ross. You know this. I was like, what can she do? Right? Where she is right now is deep and sorrowful, and she's suffering. So let's see what she can do. And what really helped her was I gave her the permission to go back to the woman she was before ever having children, and really get in touch with her. And that's where we get to know ourselves, right? Because it's just about us. And she needed to go there. I said, and now knowing everything you know, we're not dismissing any information here. Who is that woman today? And you get to invent her. And her belief was that she's no longer a mother. So I gave her permission that she will always be a mother because she is. And now she's the mother who lost her children, but she's still a mother. So she can mother other children. She can be a grandmother to other people's children, whatever it is that she needs to do to fulfill herself, you know, and it just helped her so much to move forward. Like, yes. And I said, in honor of your boys, you can do this. You can be amazing because their life was important and they taught you so much. And now just love them in spirit and love yourself in life. And let's go.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you did share that story with me. And you know, it hits me hard every time that I hear that, right? To lose both of your children.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that, you know, when you talk about reinventing yourself, you know, and the advice that you offered to her, that she can reinvent herself through others, that's a beautiful thing. You know, and to give to others, to give to community, to give to families, to give to children, whatever. There's so many outlets for somebody that is grieving, you know, to find somebody or someone in which they can give back to. You know, you lose a spouse, or you have a divorce, or you like you said, a job. I've seen people that have been, you know, stymied because of that fact. In fact, I'm getting on a conversation tomorrow with a guy that's lost his job in 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're going to have a chat. And it's you know, everybody deals with it differently, but having people like you is super important.
Well, and it's, you know, like if you were to look at everything in your life and say, okay, the possibilities are endless, right? They're really endless. And the only thing getting in our way is ourselves. So what is it that you need today? Start there. Don't think I need this, you know, by next week. Just say today, how do I get there? How do I get closer to it today? And give yourself permission to just take those steps, right? And you're going to screw up. We all do. It's human nature. And you just forgive yourself. Okay, I didn't do it right. I'm going to start over like tomorrow. You know, maybe it's a diet you're on, right? And you eat junk food and now you're judging and shaming yourself because you didn't do it right. So what? It doesn't matter. If you can forgive yourself and say, it doesn't matter that I didn't do it right, I'm going to do it better next time. You're growing, you're evolving, you know, and you're living.
Yeah.
Failure is kind of always a part of that process at some point. You know, you have to fail a little bit to keep progressing, no matter what it is, honestly.
Well, and your failures teach you the best lessons, right? So, you know, knowing that what works and what doesn't work for each individual is really important. That's where we get to know ourselves. You know, what are your true virtues in life? What's top priority for you? If you can find your top 4 virtues in life, when you're really struggling, you can step into them. And that can help guide you out of whatever is the problem.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love that too. Camille, the way you said grief is kind of a lifelong process, or is a lifelong process. Do you feel that a lot of people with unresolved issues or unresolved trauma, it starts to manifest in them physically at some point?
Absolutely. I mean, we've all been there, right? Where we're in the wrong room and we're around a toxic energy, whether it's one person or a bunch of people or just a dangerous situation. And we know we need to get out. Our brain is telling us, get the heck out. Listen to that, right? But also know when you're doing it to yourself, right? So it's really important to just be aware of what's going on up here versus here, what's right for you. Some people just have patterns of negative thinking and everything's terrible. I mean, look at the politics today. I mean, it's a great example, right? And so when I find somebody today who is just hateful of the politics, you know, I say, don't give them your joy. Why are you giving up your joy? That's what they want, right? They want to control you. Not to get political, because I don't, but it's like, help yourself, love your life, live within your means, which is good for you, and know that we can't control all of that. We don't have to like it, but don't give up this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a very true statement, honestly. And I feel like a lot of people kind of give everything to certain things that they shouldn't be putting it toward.
Yeah.
And, you know, you give up a lot of your joy for certain reasons that you shouldn't be giving it up for. You give up, you know, whatever it is that you like, and you push so much energy towards certain things that it shouldn't be geared toward.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
that comes from your head, right?
yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
your parents taught you that. Maybe it's generational, but they're all patterns. So what if you question those patterns?
Mhm.
If I were happy right now, what would that look like? Who would I be?
Right. Right.
I don't like what goes on politically. I don't think I ever have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just really balancing it out so that I can live the most peaceful life, which is something I really, really want. But we have patterns.
Yeah.
And I was telling this story yesterday to somebody. Last year, I left my husband after 27 years of marriage. And it was the bravest thing I've ever done in my life because I thought I'd be married forever. But I wasn't happy, and I decided I wanted to be happy for the rest of my life. So I had to find that joy to build that happiness because I wasn't. In a very personal, intimate way, I was unhappy. And I knew I was going to devastate everybody because everybody thought we were so solid. Even I did. So coming to that realization was a huge awakening, and I had to do some really scary things, but I'm a very, very, very brave person, and I've done some amazing things so far, so I'm going to just keep going, right? So I do. Everything, gets split up here in California, 50-50, sell the home, buy myself a home, and I'm sitting in my garden after moving in, and I'm feeling very sad and lonely, and like nobody likes me. I don't have any more friends. So lonely. This is so lonely. And as I'm sitting there, I start questioning these thoughts. Thank God, because that you can get stuck on that.
Yeah.
People weren't calling me, right? My friends were not reaching out. And I that was my evidence. This is true. I don't have any friends, right? And then I realized, well, I'm not calling them. I'm not reaching out to them.
Right.
So I'm equally as responsible. And then I'm sitting there still feeling lonely when all of a sudden it dawned on me, I am not lonely. That is a pattern.
Mhm.
Boy, is that a pattern of thought. I had it for 27 years in my marriage. What I was peaceful, sitting in my garden, listening to the birds chirp in the tree in my own, home that I created for myself. It was so peaceful. And I just broke that pattern. Just like that. So now if ever I think some lonely, pitiful thought, I just go, nope, pick up peace instead. This is a beautiful time right now in this moment. Make it the most. And
Yeah.
it was. I actually ended up laughing out loud at myself.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Every day we do this to ourselves.
Right.
But when you start training yourself to be aware of it, then you get more power and purpose for how you want to be, right? To help you get through any challenge. And anybody can do this. You just have to be observant.
Yeah.
Her other form of release is going to Abbott Square and dancing.
That's right. That's
because I've seen her.
I love to dance. I love fun, right? And I want more fun in my life. And so, that brings me peace. And I want to live a really full life. So it's not just about, my business and drive and helping people. It's also helping myself. I want to have fun. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting exercise, though, that you bring up, because I feel like a lot of people don't question enough certain things. Like they're like, am I actually lonely right now? Is this bringing me peace? Is this not bringing me peace? All the energy tends to focus on something, but you don't question it enough. You're sitting there in your yard, you're going,
Right.
I'm lonely, but am I actually lonely? And then
Right.
it's people don't question enough of what's happening at the moment.
No, they do.
Yeah.
They do just like I did. They pick up the evidence to prove they're right. And it's a fact. This is a fact, right?
Right.
Like nobody's calling me.
Right.
I don't have any friends left. And then I went, okay, let's talk about the friends you're talking to. There were friends, of course. And then let's talk about the ones who's not calling me, and am I calling them? So it's just questioning it and proving your thoughts to be totally inaccurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just brought so much, great joy to me. And you feel really powerful when you can override your own miserable thoughts. It's a very powerful feeling.
Yeah. That's kind of how you would get out of also fear scenarios with certain things too. Not even just in the grieving process, just saying like, why am I so fearful right now of trying to do this or get out of this job or get out of this, career path or make a change in my life? you could say, okay, I'm fearful for this reason, or I'm fearful for that reason, but you could kind of start to ask yourself the right questions as opposed to putting yourself in that fear situation over and over and over. You could say, all right, but I could get this done. I could do this. I could go to this length. I could go to that length. It's an interesting exercise to do for people on a daily basis. You could do it with every single task, technically.
And often we think it's something it's not. So starting with you guys this morning, I was like, God, I think I feel really nervous, Now, let's not forget.
You should be.
I just drank a bunch of coffee, right? So coffee gets me going. But I was the first thought I had was that I was nervous. And I was like, I don't really get nervous. Right. So what I realized was I was excited. And they both feel very similar, right? And so it's really recognizing your emotions to identify them properly. Other times when I do have, I'm intimidated, right? Going up with you at the show, there was a little bit of fear, nervousness, or whatever. But it was also so exciting. And I love just doing it, right? What if we just do the things we're super uncomfortable with? Usually when we're done, we're just like, yeah, I'm a badass. That was so great. Let's do more, right? Because I can do hard things. The only reason why they're hard is because of the way we think about them.
Yeah.
Yep. It's true. Get uncomfortable.
That's right. That's right. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not developing yourself at all.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All the time. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Mill, how important is it for someone to find themselves in activities that are going through a grieving process? What does the physical aspect of getting outside, moving their bodies, finding some form of Pilates or yoga or something, how important is it for them in this grieving process to do something along those lines?
Well, that comes down to science, right? We're all just humans after all, and the human body needs certain things. So, it is important to eat, and that might be difficult like it was for me, but I made sure I could eat whatever it was I could eat. But getting outside, breathing, another thing I'm working on, right? Fresh air, doing things that stimulate the body on a scientific level. So you're helping yourself, because emotionally you're going to go through a lot, and it's going to be very, very draining. It's going to take a lot out of you. So you want to support the body as much as you can. And a lot of people don't know how. I mean, this is education I was given at birth. So I knew, by instinct what I needed. But there is education everywhere. Don't ignore it, right? We all know the difference of a healthy diet versus a bad diet. So, if you're going to feed your body crap, you're probably going to feel like crap. So if you're going through crap, try something different, like, a vegetable and some whole foods, right?
Yes.
And hydration. There you go, because what do you want to do when you're miserable? You want to drink a lot of alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. What does alcohol do? Makes you depressed, right? It's just like this evil cycle, and just be aware of when you're doing it. And so that you can monitor yourself and help yourself better, so that you're supporting your physical body so that your mind can work better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it could be different for everybody, like some
absolutely
people like to run. I am not a runner. I am not a swimmer. I'm not going to do those things. Yep. So, it's like, well, what can I do that I really enjoy? What feeds my soul? A good walk, a hike. Oh my God, seeing, Mother Nature and beautiful things, that really brings me in, yep. Right? And can be very magical.
Mm-hmm. Right. I feel like it's a form of disassociation, whatever helps you disassociate, being outside, nature, walks, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And, it's like some people don't see it because they're not looking for it. And you're going to see whatever you're looking for. So if you want to look for misery, you'll find it, But if you want to look for something magical, Mother Nature is a great place to go. Yes. I mean, just watching bees pollinate flowers and hang out, you can sit right next to them, and it's a beautiful thing, right? You don't have to be afraid. It's nothing scary. It's just Mother Nature, and we're all here together. Go whale watching if you can do that, because that's a magical experience too, right? Mm-hmm. Anything that takes you away from the pattern that's hurting you, to open you up and bring in a little joy, just a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Camille, for somebody who's in a a very dark season right now in their life from whatever event may have occurred to them or whatever it may be, and they think it's not going to be okay again, what's something that you'd want them to hear from you today?
Believe in possibilities, number one. And I would write everything down that you think is wrong and really look at it, right? What's going on in your head? Write it down, journal, whatever, record it. I don't care. And read it or listen to it, because you're going to hear all the lies in it. You know, just like I did when I thought I would never truly smile again. I knew immediately that was a lie. How can I not smile at puppies and babies, right? You know, it's like,
Yes.
oh, I'm lying to myself. Of course I'm going to smile. I'm going to have a complete smile and feel joy with joyful things. So I knew immediately I was telling myself lines that were incorrect. And I started paying close attention to it. And this was way before I ever became a coach. So it's really being aware and noticing yourself. And if you can write things down when you're really, really stuck, it's a really great way to see how you're sabotaging yourself. Like, I hate somebody. Do you really hate them or do you dislike them? Or people say, I'm so angry. Are you angry or are you frustrated? You know, there's so many different emotions out there, and finding the right one will help you be more true to yourself. And it gives you, you know, the possibility of fixing something. I can deal with frustration. I don't like anger, but sometimes it can be very useful. It can help me make a decision that needs to be made, right? So it's just noticing them and using them so that you can do right for yourself.
Amazing. You know, Camille, today's conversation has been deep, powerful, probably emotional for people who are going through it right now, who are in a grieving process from a loss of something. Powerful words today. You are a true dear friend of mine, and getting to know one another better. And I really hope that those that are listening today will reach out to either you and or someone like you to get help if they're stuck today.
Yes.
Because living a stuck life is not where people need to be. Living a grieving life is not where people need to be. To find that true happiness, to find that joy. And I know, like you said, you know, you have experienced many joys with your son who has passed, and you live on those memories, and it brings you so much happiness. And with your children now and your friends now, you didn't allow this process to defeat you in your life. And I commend you for, because if I met you, meeting you for the first time, I would never have known that you had gone through that, just because the way that you carry yourself. So I applaud that. But I really want people who are listening today and in the future to reach out to somebody like you to unlock that true happiness of what they can get out of life and where they can go into life, and don't let the situation defeat them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so this final question to you that we always end with is that wellness is not about perfection, but it's about progress. How can that be applied to people who are grieving in their life today?
Give me the question again.
Wellness is not about perfection. It's about progress.
Right. So one of the things I think as humans we're really hard on is judgment, right? We judge ourselves and we shame ourselves. We're never good enough. And I would say almost every single one of my clients gets really tender with me when I tell them they're perfect, because we don't give ourselves that credit. We are perfect. This is our journey, and we are experiencing it perfectly in all of our imperfections, right? So it's really just about being aware of who you are and trying to figure out who you want to be. And that is a big, huge, open-ended question for people. They don't know. So it's coming to those realizations. Who do you want to be now? We are allowed to do this. Give yourself that permission, make the changes you need to make, stick with them, and forgive yourself when you screw up, right? So that you can continue to live your life. Because if you're not, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not human nature to just say, I'm going to die now.
Right.
Mm. Love that.
Powerful. Love that too.
Camille, thank you so much.
Yes.
This has been an unbelievable conversation today. Thank you for, challenging people, for bringing it to real life, because people are going through it every single day.
They are.
Every single day.
A lot right now.
A lot. And so, how can we find that joy? How can we find that happiness? How can we move beyond what we thought is the end, into our grieving? So, very, very powerful for me to have this conversation today. And I just want to say thank you for the time that you have shared with us today, and for all of our listeners who are listening, and the thousands that are going to listen to it. And I know that your words today have really meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing.
Thank
Where
you.
can people,
Thank you, Dan.
yeah, where can people find you, Camille?
Yeah, Camille, where can people find you?
Well, you can go to my website, which is yourcoachcamille.com. You can email me, yourcoachcamille@gmail.com. You can also give me a phone call. I'm really easy to reach. And my phone number is 831-246-1038. I offer a 30-minute free consultation mini session for all new clients. And that's a great opportunity to see if I can help you see something, and also whether or not we fit, right? I may not be the right person for somebody, but there's the right person out there for you. And it really is about finding the person that can help you, right? It's not about how do I fix myself. It's about who can help me, because we all need help.
Yeah,
We do.
Yeah. Amazing.
Dan, you might want to give her a call.
Yeah. Got some unresolved. Camille, thank you so much for being on today. This was a powerful podcast on all levels today, emotional, everything. Please, everyone, check out Camille at all her social media handles. Check her out. I think that was the first phone number we've ever given out on Dual Coast. Give her a call at her phone number that she just said. Please check us out on all social media handles at Dual Coast Podcast. Check out Camille at her social media handles. We will see everybody next week with another amazing episode. Thank you so much, Camille Ellis, for joining us today. We really appreciate
you, Camille.
listening.
Thank you. This was so fun. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.